What's up, everybody? Joe White here, and we are going to talk about The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 2, called Through the Valley. I was not prepared for this. I was not expecting them to kill. Spoiler warning here, I was not expecting them to kill Joel this early in the season. This first season is only 7 episodes. So they got, let's see here, 5 episodes to go. And already, man, I'm wondering what the hell is going to happen. They got seven. Here's what I think is going to happen. Well, let's go through the episode first. They have we see Abby and them taking shelter in the mansion in the chateau near Jackson. She's wanting to kill Joel, even if she's got to wait out in the bitter cold for an hour. Um, they're also, all her friends are concerned about this. We see them acting a little bit more military than they do in the game. They even mentioned the fob, which we will hopefully get to see the fob sometime soon. Um, and they're like, oh man, this looked a lot smaller at nighttime when we got here last night. Now they're waking up, they're looking out with their binoculars, they're seeing patrols coming in and out. They see the guard towers, and this is a city. For those of you who have never been to Jackson, Wyoming, um, it's pretty big for Wyoming standards. Um, so Abby accidentally awakens a horde of infected while she's trying to scope out this city, and we learn early on that when we visit Jackson, that there is concern for a horde. We've discovered that these quote unquote infected. I can't call them zombies because they're not. But we learned that these infected are in fact burying themselves beneath the snow to stay alive. They have survival instincts. They're even huddling up together. You got to remember, these are infected with cordyceps, mushrooms, fungus. They are alive despite with their appearance, and despite that they don't have a human brain really anymore. They are alive. They are a living organism. They do have some semblance of intelligence. Um, so basically, the town hunkers down in place. They have these patrols out. It does follow with the game for the most part, with Ellie sleeping in after the night after the party, Jesse having to wake her up. They go into town. We learn that Joel is on patrol with Dina, which did not. It bothered me. It did bother me. Um, because it is supposed to be Tommy with her, but given the deviations that they've made, and John Campea has even said, every time they make a deviation away from the game, it only helps things, and I tend to agree. Um, Tommy having to stay behind and defend his wife and his kid and the rest of the town makes sense. And this was, John Campea even said, this was a Helm's Deep type of battle. This put, the long night from Game of Thrones, this put that to shame. I'm sorry, but it did. You see them getting up on the wall and or gathering around in the restaurant, and Tommy's telling everybody, if you hear bells, that means either get underground or get up on the wall and ready to fight. Take your positions. Here's the plan. So Joel is off with Dina, patrolling one part of the area. Jesse takes Ellie, which that's actually supposed to be Dina, and takes her off into another part. They find, basically, they're the ones that find Eugene, his weed farm that he had stashed away. That was pretty accurate, except for the fact that it should be Dina there with her, because in the game, you know, uh, Sorry, I don't know why my microphone decided to crap out there. So while they're waiting out the storm, her and Dina actually have sex for the first time in that weed shop, or in that weed hideout of Eugene's. And we know we're going to see Eugene's. We know we're going to see Joe Pantoliano, Joey Pants as Eugene in some flashbacks. But man, 5 episodes to go, and they got a lot of ground to cover. Unless they are going to do double the episodes next season, they still have a lot of ground to cover with this material. Um. Anyway, anyway, the town is on fire. They the deal with the oil barrels and blowing them up with the horde outside, but then here comes the bloater, and the bloater's gonna break through. I did have a few issues with the CGI with these infected, the horde, but who knows, maybe they still will get an Emmy nomination for best visual effects. I thought it looked a little rough around the edges. It's, the video game looked a lot better, but the video game does not have a horde attacking Jackson. We hear that Jackson has had some attacks on them from raiders and hordes and such, but we don't actually see it in the video game. So we have Tommy holding down the fort with Maria, and I will say that battle sequence was awesome. And the whole time when Tommy gets trapped and cornered with that bloater, and he's spraying him with the flamethrower, and the flamethrower is losing pressure, I'm sitting here thinking, oh God, here they go. Here they go. They're going to have Maria come in and save the day, because heaven forbid a man should have to take on something like this by himself and actually win a battle by himself. But they didn't go that route. The bloater just collapses and dies. It really makes me wonder, for those who have played the video game, how they are going to handle the Shamblers and how they are going to do the Rat King. The Rat King is a major, major boss in this game that Abby has to fight. Which I was sitting there going, oh, now you're going to introduce flamethrowers in the early game when you don't even get that flamethrower until about 3/4 of the game when you're getting ready to, 3/4 through the game when you're getting ready to fight the Rat King. So our stage is set, the battle's happening. And at the same time, Abby is trying to make her way from the horde, and she gets scooped up by Joel and Dina and gets taken back to the mansion, the chateau, the ski lodge, if you will. And Ellie and Jesse hear that Joel is missing. They can't get a hold of Joel, so they hightail it to where Joel is, or where they think they are. And then, the big moment happens. Abby brings him in there. They shoot him in the leg. Mel, I don't like the girl that they got playing Mel. I know they're not supposed to look like their video game counterparts. No, they don't have to. But Mel, she's not as sympathetic as she is in the video game. She does show some of that, but during this scene, she showed none of that. In the game, Ellie makes her way downstairs before finding them, not upstairs. So there's a big, big change too. Joel gets killed in the basement part of this ski lodge. Shooting Dina up with the knockout juice, as it were, saying, "Hey, this is only going to knock you out for an hour." And they give her that, and she notices the WLF patch. We find out later on in the coming next week thing that she knows everybody's name. So they made a big mistake leaving Ellie and everybody else alive. And the death scene was exactly what I thought it should be. It was brutal. It did not go like it did in the video game, where she basically cuts into him with the wedge, with the golf wedge, the golf club. Here the golf club breaks, and she stabs him right in the back of the neck, right in the with the airway, or right in the airway with this broken golf club. And then they leave, and Ellie is promising to kill them, every last one of them. it looked exactly like it did in the video game, but with like different looking people. I will tell you right here, the guy who they have playing Owen, I don't like the look of him. I don't like the way they've written him. I don't. He should be a baby face, clean guy. He does not have a beard in that game at all. Another thing I will tell you right now is that Ellie's character, and I hope going forward, in the video game, she's 19, and she grows up a lot in that time skip between games. She becomes a young woman, and here she's still like acting. I don't know whether it's the way that Bella Ramsey is playing her, or if it's the way that she's written. Either way, it's the director's fault and the showrunner's fault. But Ellie needs to get more serious. If you look at a picture of Ellie from this game, she's a grown woman with revenge on her mind, with a purpose. And I didn't catch that here at all. I still look at Bella Ramsey's version of Ellie and I see a little teenage girl, which is not the way the character should be written. It's not the way the character should be acted out. Also, with Bella Ramsey, I hate to say this, but when you get, I'm a huge Sons of Anarchy fan, and especially towards the last 3 seasons of that show, Charlie Hunnam, the guy who plays the lead actor, he's the lead actor. He's a British guy. And in the last 3 seasons of that show, his accent slips a lot. I mean, a lot. And it does in the earlier seasons too. Like there's one line where he has to explain that, they've whacked the caretaker. And instead of saying they whacked the caretaker, it comes across as these people whacked the caretaker. It comes across very, very English. And when Bella Ramsey is, I know as an actor or an actress, when you get into that state of mind where you have to become that rageful and you have to make yourself cry and get into that kind of moment, it can be hard to get a grasp on your accent. But man, her accent totally faltered here when she's screaming, "I'm gonna kill you, Joel! Get up, get up!" I was like, man, maybe she wasn't the right person to play Ellie, after all. Ashley Johnston Ashley Johnson coming in and singing "Through the Valley," which that song I believe was on the give me 1 second here. Sorry. That song was not in the game itself. It was in the little teaser trailer. And in the teaser trailer, I'm hoping kind of that we get Ellie gone crazy, like the whole plot of revenge is making her go crazy. Because in the original trailer, they show her playing guitar and she's playing and singing that song after just killing a bunch of people. And Joel walks into the house where she's at and goes, "Hey, kiddo, are you really going to go through with this?" And she looks up at him and goes, "I'm going to find and I'm going to kill every last one of them." And then the trailer cuts to the Last of Us 2 logo, and that was the trailer that they showed at E3 and when they announced this thing. I want to say it was like back in 2015. Or it may have been 2017. I'm not sure. But they never showed that scene. That scene was not part of the game. That was just specifically made for the show or for the teaser trailer for the game. So it did kind of hit me in the feels when they started playing that song and they played Ashley Johnson singing it, who is Ellie's mother. So you have Ellie's mother in the show singing that song while they're dragging Joel's body wrapped up in cloth back to Jackson. Ellie can't contain herself on that horse. It was a moment. It was a moment for sure. And also, while that's going on, you see the town of Jackson, where they're trying to assess the damage done. You got burning buildings around them. The cafe that they were just in that morning is burnt up. A bakery gets burnt up. Carnage everywhere. So overall, this was a great episode of television, but Ashley Johnson needs to be written better. The character of Ellie needs to be written better here. She needs to be more serious. And I'm looking at these episodes left, and it's like, okay, in the game, there's a bit of a time jump, a few days, and they set out to Seattle. They remember they say they came from Seattle, and she even tells Joel, you know, we're from Seattle. You might want to stay away from there. You might not want to come there. But I think they tell him that after Dina's already been put to sleep. Um, but in the game, when they mention WLF, it's Tommy who tells them Washington Liberation Front. So it's Tommy that tells them, hey, where they're headed. And I'm curious to see about, is Tommy gonna go with them to Seattle? Is Tommy gonna get that head start that he gets in the video game? My guess is no. I'm guessing that you will not see Tommy go to Seattle at all. At all. Because they have to get to Seattle with the 5 episodes of TV that they have left. They got to get to Seattle pretty quickly, because my prediction for this is just like the game. You're going to see Seattle day 1 pop up on the screen, Seattle day 2, Seattle day 3. And you're going to see the rest of this season is going to be the first 3 days of Seattle through Ellie's eyes. And then next season, at the start of next season, if you got 7 episodes, you dedicate about 5 of those episodes to the Seattle day 1, Seattle day 2, Seattle day 3, to Ellie's point of view. I hate it now. I hated it back then. They even in the after show, they're like, we're trying to make you feel sympathetic to Abby and her cause, and make you feel. I'm like, dude, you don't get it. 90% of the people who played that game hated it when they had to play as Abby. Hated it. I just replayed this game for the last couple weeks on and off. I did finish it again, but I found myself once again skipping all of Abby's cutscenes. Anytime I had the chance to throw Abby off a cliff and watch her die, I did. It's like, here, you get what you deserve. Boom. And people, are going, well, Joel's no saint, and Joel's done bad things. Yes, but when you sit there and play a 20-hour experience, at least 15, 20-hour experience, if not more, with a character, and you get inside his head and you feel sympathetic towards him, and then in the next game, you're like, yes, Ellie and Joel, right again. And then 2 days before the game comes out, it gets leaked that, nope, Joel dies. Yes, that's right. His death scene got leaked. And it also got leaked that you play as this jacked up, butch, ugly looking thing called Abby, which the character that they got, or the actress that they got playing Abby, is way better looking than her in-game model. That's one thing they did correctly, if you will. But nobody liked it then. Nobody likes it now. And if you're going to dedicate one half of next season, 3/4 of next season, to doing it again, you better make it a lot different than it was. You better make it better than it was. I don't think you can. Because the story overall just sucks. We don't want to play as Abby. We don't care that her dad got shot. And yesterday, when I'm watching this episode, I'm sitting here looking at Abby and her crew, and I'm going, I can't wait for each one of you to die. And I hope that they do the right thing and they kill Abby off in the end. But I don't think they will. So I firmly think that the first 5 episodes of season 3 are going to be day 1, day 2, and day 3 for Abby in Seattle. And then the last 2 episodes are going to be an epilogue. It's going to be the Santa Barbara chapter. It's going to be Ellie leaving her home with Dina and the baby. Because, yeah, Dina's pregnant, guys. In the game, at least. I hope they make her pregnant here, too. But I don't want to see this. I don't want to see it again. I don't want to have to go through this again. So, if they're going to string us along like this and give us a character that no one cared about, that no one wanted to play as her, they better make it good. They better make it good. So, what are your thoughts on The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 2, Through the Valley? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We'll see you down the road.